One evening, just as the sun was setting and painting the sky in shades of pink and gold, little Laura, who was 5 years old, snuggled up on the couch beside her grandma. Her 3-year-old brother, Liam, was sitting on the floor, playing with his toy blocks. He was busy stacking them as high as he could. "Look, Grandma," Liam said proudly, "I'm building the biggest tower ever." Grandma smiled and set down her knitting. "That's a very tall tower, Liam. But did you know that a long time ago, people tried to build a tower all the way to the sky?" Laura's eyes widened with curiosity. "Really, Grandma? A tower that touched the sky?" "Yes, my dear," Grandma said, patting Laura's hand. "It happened a long time ago, not long after Noah's Ark. Would you like to hear the story?" Liam clapped his hands. "Yes. Was it bigger than my tower?" Grandma chuckled. "Oh, much, much bigger. But do you know what happened to it?" Liam shook his head. Grandma leaned in and whispered, "It was never finished." Laura gasped. "Why not?" "Well," Grandma said with a twinkle in her eye, "let me tell you the story of the Tower of Babel." And so, as Liam rested his head on Grandma's lap and Laura curled up beside her, Grandma began the tale. A long time ago, after the great flood, Noah and his family stepped off the ark onto dry land. God had saved them, and he gave them a command: "Go, spread across the earth, have families, and fill the land with people again." Noah's children obeyed for a while. They had children, and their children had even more children. Soon, villages and small towns began to grow. But as time passed, many of Noah's descendants forgot about God. Instead of spreading across the world as he had asked, some people had a different idea. One day, a group of travelers arrived at a beautiful valley called Shinar. The land was rich and fertile, and it had plenty of water for farming. The people looked around and said, "Why should we keep moving? Let's settle here and build a great city." Everyone agreed. They worked together to make homes, markets, and streets. Soon the city was buzzing with life and the people were happy. But then another idea came into their minds. One of the leaders of the city stood before the crowd and said, "We are strong when we stay together. If we keep moving and spreading out, we will become weak and small. But if we build something grand, something that reaches all the way to heaven, then we will be remembered forever." "Yes," the people shouted. "Let's build a tower so high that it touches the sky. Then we will never be forgotten, and we will never have to leave this city." So, instead of listening to God and filling the earth, the people decided to make themselves famous. They wanted to show their own power instead of trusting in God's plan. The people got to work right away. They didn't have large stones like other cities, so they made their own bricks by baking clay in fire. They used tar to stick the bricks together, making the tower strong and tall. Day by day, the tower grew. Workers climbed higher and higher, carrying heavy bricks up wooden ramps. Some said, "Look how tall it is. We are almost in the clouds." Others laughed, "Maybe soon we can reach the place where God lives." They were so proud of what they were doing that they forgot to thank God. They thought they didn't need him anymore. Up in heaven, God watched them. He saw their hearts were full of pride and selfishness. He knew that if they all spoke the same language and stayed in one place, they would continue to turn away from him. So one day, as the workers prepared to continue their building, something strange happened. "Pass me a brick," one man called to his friend, but his friend just blinked in confusion. "Qu'est-ce que tu dis?" "Ich verstehe dich nicht," someone else said. "No entiendo," another shouted. The people could no longer understand each other. Their words had become mixed up into many different languages. The workers tried to explain what they needed, but every person spoke in a tongue no one else understood. Confusion spread through the city. Arguments broke out. People became frustrated. Some tried to give instructions with their hands. but nothing worked. "How can we build if we don't understand each other?" someone cried. "This is impossible," another shouted. Soon, the workers gave up. They put down their bricks and left the tower unfinished. Some families gathered together with those who spoke the same language, and they began to move away from the city, traveling to different parts of the world. God had stopped their prideful plans, and just as he had commanded long ago, the people finally began to spread across the earth. The tall, unfinished tower stood in the middle of the abandoned city. People who passed by it shook their heads and said, "This is the place where our words became confused." And so they called the place Babel, which means confusion. It became a reminder that no matter how smart, strong, or powerful people think they are, they can never be greater than God. Grandma finished her story and looked down her two grandchildren. Laura was deep in thought, while Liam was staring at his toy tower. "So," Grandma asked with a smile, "what do you think happened to their tower?" "It fell down," Liam guessed. "Well," Grandma said, "maybe over time it crumbled away, but what really matters is what happened to the people. God's plan was for them to fill the earth, and in the end, they did." Laura nodded. "I guess they thought they didn't need God, the style, but we do." Grandma hugged her. "That's right, sweet girl." Liam suddenly knocked over his tower with a giggle. "Uh-oh, my Tower of Babel is gone." Grandma laughed. "Maybe you should build a new one. But remember, no matter how big it gets, we should always trust in God, not just in ourselves." And with that, Laura and Liam spent the rest of the evening building towers, not to reach the sky, but just for fun, as their grandma smiled, watching over them. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss out on our future content. And if you haven't seen our previous episodes in the Book of Genesis playlist, be sure to check it out. There's a link in the description. See you in the next video.